Up in the Dumbo, smoking a gumbo. Few blocks before green, yet up in the jungle. Coking the bundles, it's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands, I'm riding in vans. Slide through your land, hopping the sprinters. Tore the underworld, popping the minter. Landed the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still manage like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. Fuck do you mean? We up it and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck up for breeze, running the banks, causing a crashing. Feather the feds, Moorish the fashion. Horse was smashing, kicking the door. Wave on 4-4s, it was blasting. Mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley receipts. Washing the Benjis, we rinse and repeat. Century of self, I'm centered on me. Red as the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning, flooded a bright lane. The hunger was biting, right up in the jungle, coking the bundles. Up in the Dumbo, smoking a gumbo. Few blocks before green, yet up in the jungle. Coking the bundles, it's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands, I'm riding in vans. Slide through your land, hopping the sprinters. Tore the underworld, popping the minter. Landed the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still manage like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. Fuck do you mean? We up it and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck up for breeze, running the banks, causing a crashing. Feather the feds, Moorish the fashion. Horse was smashing, kicking the door. Wave on 4-4s, it was blasting. Mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley receipts. Washing the Benjis, we rinse and repeat. Century of self, I'm centered on me. Red as the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning, flooded a bright lane. The hunger was biting, biting.
Join us every Sunday, 4:44 p.m. Eastern. Only on Patreon, as we welcome Chicago Crypto Block Bully Technical Analysis.
Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here. Welcome back to the channel for another update on Bitcoin. So
understanding technical analysis can mean the difference between buying here and buying here. And that's why I've decided to create price action, the movement of an asset or security's price over time plotted on a chart. All-time high, ATH, the highest an asset has ever been in price. Support, a point in the market where the price is less likely to drop below due to previous demand or price action. Resistance, a point in the market where the
You will learn behavioral economics. You will study historical market data. You will be able to identify trading opportunities. You will be able to evaluate any investment and many, many more. Please join us on Red Pillar's Patreon. Peace.
Well, there's no way I can bring you straight to the curricula that I use without a foundation. So this 4 weeks will be used to familiarize people with the process, with the protocol. Right. And you will get some skills in how to delineate and erect a chart if you're studious. It requires studies. There's no shortcuts, right? That's why it's gonna be 4 weeks, all right? And you have the opportunity to get ready to use astrology in any means that you build your capacity to use it. So you're gonna have to study hard. It ain't gonna be a walk through the park. It's a complex science, okay? But I do have a means by which to simplify it where other people have left it complicated. Right? I've been doing it for quite some time. So I found all kinds of shortcuts, and this is what I'll be showing, right? You come prepared to the class, all right? Be prepared to do some long division, all right? And some addition, all right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, all right, all right. Welcome to another episode of Melanin Tuesdays. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is your host for the evening, Brother Red Pill. I'm reporting live and direct. This is episode 248. All right. This is not a Monday show. This is a Tuesday show. And if anybody been riding with me, you know Melanin Tuesdays are very special. Those are the days that go down. But today is 7-11. So, you know, it's only right that today is the day that we do this. You dig what I'm saying? Today is a very special day. In my timeline, you know what I mean? I can't speak for nobody else, but in my timeline, today is a very powerful day. And we're gonna take a trip down memory lane. We're gonna get in the DeLorean and we're gonna take a trip down my timeline. Most of those figures that you see behind me, their superpowers are the ability to go through the timeline in the multiverse. Okay, their ability to jump through the timeline. So we're gonna jump through the timeline tonight on this 7-Eleven and take a trip down memory lane, because sometimes we tend to forget things. But I'm here to remind y'all. So let's go ahead and do the roll call. Let's do the roll call. Let's see who's in the building. Peace to the family. Peace to you and yours. Greetings. Welcome. All right. Salute. What's goody? All right. Them beats is tight. Well, if you got bars, you go ahead and put some heat on those beats. You know what I'm talking about? Go ahead and put some heat on those beats. You dig? You know, sauce them up. All right. So the family is in the building. Y'all in the building deep. Bridgeport, Connecticut is in the building. Shout out to Bridgeport, Connecticut. Santa Rosa, California is in the building. Shout out to Cali. Shout out to the West Side. Harlem in the building. Mississippi in the building. East Flatbush in the building. Brick City in the building. Fort Wayne. What it do? You dig? We got Macon, Georgia in the building. We got Portland, Oregon in the building. Los Angeles, we got the galaxy of Brooklyn. You know what I'm talking about? Cherokee, Georgia. We got Durham in the building. We got Rome in the building. Little Rock in the building. Griffin. Georgia's deep. What's really good, Georgia? Pop out. Texas in the building. You know what I'm talking about? Crystal City in the building. Stone Mountain, a.k.a. Crystal City. Crystal Mountain in the building. Today just so happens to be a 1-year anniversary of our Stone Mountain travels. Not the big one that we went on. That was on 6/11, and then we did it on 9/11. But we also did a 7/11 where we went at night. I don't know if you was with us, King Simon, but that one right there was powerful as well. The nighttime Crystal Mountain ritual and whatnot. We're going to talk about that tonight as well. But let us continue. St. Croix in the building. Salute to St. Croix. Valdosta in the building. See, Georgia's deep. Seattle in the building. Duval in the... What up? You was at Duval all day? Stone Mountain, Crystal Mountain again. Savannah, Georgia in the building. Spartansburg. Okay, it's a Georgia night. Okay, I see what y'all doing. Cali in the building. B-more in the building. And I'm talking about Hollywood in the building. Norfolk in the building. Brookhaven again. Georgia. That's right. Y'all want to know what the sound effects? The sound effects are right there in the machine, but I'm using a mic that's not attached to the sound effect. So we gonna bring the sound effects. The sound effects shall return. The sound effects shall return. You know what I'm talking about? But right now you just getting this crispy audio from your boy, and we good. Yeah, you was there, King Simon. Right. It was spiritual. It was enlightening. A lot of work was done on Stone Mountain, and people across the board in different circles and in different walks of life are talking about the shift in energy that they are feeling in Atlanta, or that they're witnessing in Atlanta from afar. And the people that live out here, they're like, you know what? I can't put my finger on it, but something has shifted in Atlanta. Things have cleared up a bit. I don't know what it is, but something has changed. I don't know. It's still crazy out here, but there's a shift. Chicago in the building, all right? Kansas in the building, more Georgia in the building. And it is, I'm gonna matter of fact, I'll even go on Black Magic 363 to play the clip of the Stone Mountain ceremony. And in this clip, we actually stood on Crystal Mountain. And when I got up there to talk, I talked about the culture. I talked about shifting the culture. I talked about the energy. I talked about clearing up the energy and putting that lower frequency to rest, ending it. Being able to clear up that dark cloud that was over the city and whatnot. I was praying for the babies. You feel me? We need to do it again to put a halt on Cop City. I'm going to take y'all on a trip down Cop City Lane. This right here is very, very important. We definitely going to need to do this one again to make sure that we could put so we could change the resonance field and collapse a few of these wave particles and whatnot, and change the direction of the course of history. Because this Cop City right here, this has this will create two parallel universes, undoubtedly. There's a universe that's created if Cop City is built. Then there's a universe that's created if it's defeated and it's not built. And the people of Atlanta come together and rise up against this militarization of the South, of the crown jewel of the South, right? Because New York City is considered Cop City, right? New York City is considered to be Cop City, right? And we all can agree to that. Post 9/11, we saw our city transformed almost overnight into what would be considered the headquarters of 17 different intelligence agencies, alongside the largest police force in the world, and that would be the NYPD. And they were given a new set of powers and whatnot with this Patriot Act. But what we have brewing in the forest of Atlanta is the physical, right? Not in theory and whatnot, and not something that's not concentrated. We're talking about a concentrated $90 million project that will span the length of, I'm thinking it's 13 football fields, right? And this is where they're going to train for urban warfare, amongst a whole bunch of other things. Now, what took place over the past few months from a law enforcement angle, with the cleaning up by way of the feds coming and sweeping Atlanta, right? Feds did a sweep. And the person who initiated the sweep was Fannie Wilson, right? She was the face of the sweep. She came in and she brought this person that nobody really likes to see. You know what I'm talking about? His name is Rico. And I ain't talking about Suave either. You know what I'm talking about? She brought Rico with her. And she's been bringing, and Rico came into Atlanta, and Rico's been cleaning up the dance floor, to the point where Lil Baby was like, y'all can have Atlanta. I'm going to go ahead and chill with Mike Rubin and them. You know what I'm talking about? They abandoned the state. She brought Rico with her. And they started this cleanup process. And
they've dramatically reduced crime, right, in the city of Atlanta in the past, I would say year, let's just say a year and change. You know, they turned around the tide of an upward trajectory of murders, robberies, burglaries, kidnappings, you name it. It was a lot of shit going down in the streets or the underworld, or what they call the trenches of Atlanta and the surrounding areas. So they came in and they start cleaning up and they start throwing jackets on the rappers and whatnot. And now seeing what this Cop City thing is about, with $90 million invested in it, on the heels of Apple, Facebook, and a few other big companies putting $100 million plus in their projects and whatnot. I'm like, oh nah. And let me not forget Hollywood running behind Tyler Perry, trying to keep up with what he's doing and whatnot, because he's basically disrupted the whole structure of Hollywood with his 300-acre studio that's bigger than anything that they built in Hollywood. So Hollywood is running to Georgia and they're pumping millions upon millions of dollars out here. You know, they got an APD officer on every corner downtown in a hotel district. Yeah, because Atlanta is, they're not just gonna let that city go. They're not gonna let that city be taken by the by that certain type of element and whatnot. You feel me? So they're gonna once that Cop City thing gets approved, it's really gonna start. Rico is really gonna start dancing and whatnot. So a lot of that underworld shit that was flying unchecked for a very long time, and a lot of that gang activity was the shit that's making people want to move away from Atlanta and fuck with the property value. Oh nah, they not having that. They about to turn this shit into Hollywood for real, for real. It's too much money that they've invested into this state. And to be honest with you, it's not a lot of these hands in those investment pots, just based off of what I've seen. The construction is taking place all over the city. You don't see our people holding the clipboards and whatnot with the yellow hard hats on. That's not our people. We not controlling those projects for real. So it's just an observation that I'm making. But yeah, I'm gonna matter of fact, let me go ahead and play this clip about Cop City so we could all be on the same page and have a better understanding as to what this thing is.
Atlanta City Council just approved Cop City, the $90 million police militarization facility for police to train in urban warfare. Community members and activists lined up to speak to oppose the building of the facility.
Spending $60 million, 60 million taxpayer dollars on a new police training facility is the most heartbreaking, reckless, and quite frankly, anti-Black thing this city has ever proposed in my lifetime.
Atlanta only has one level 1 trauma hospital in the metro Atlanta.
One trauma hospital.
But you want $60 million for Cop City.
Testimony went well until 3 a.m., with 210 people speaking against the facility and hundreds more outside that were denied entry. The Atlanta City Council ultimately voted to approve tens of millions of dollars to go to the project, despite the intense public outcry and opposition. This vote came on the heels of the recent arrests of the 3 organizers who led the Atlanta Solidarity Fund, which had provided bail money and helped find attorneys for arrested protesters. But the community is not giving up. Organizers filed a petition with the city of Atlanta that starts the process of getting the issue of building Cop City on the November ballot. They say the struggle doesn't end here.
Yeah, we're trying to get a people's referendum on the ballot. The Georgia Constitution allows for a ballot initiative. We see that as the next legal mechanism in order to get Cop City built or stop the Cop City from being built. So that is what we're trying to do. There's going to continue to be street protests. There's going to continue to be actions. There's a week of actions coming up. But we also want to make sure that we have a direct path.
Yeah. This may be a job for the Brujahs and the shamans and whatnot. They might have to call in the hitters. You know what I'm talking about? They might have to summon the big dogs. You know what I mean, to turn that train around, because it looks like it's already in the bag. You know what I mean? It's too much money on the table. It's too much money on the table. They're not the city of Atlanta. You know, they heard all of those people complaints, and then they was like, all right, everybody and everyone is saying, I put your hand up, and then they all would yeah. You know what I mean? The bags that they got, those swag bags that they got for them people who gonna be voting for them, I guess it's too big. You know, the lobbying is too strong. This is gonna take an act of what they call an act of God. You know what I mean? An act of God. It's enough powerful people in Atlanta to make that thing, to turn the tides on that. You know what I'm talking about? It's enough people to make miracles happen. But that's the type of shit that needs to be taken to the mountain this year. You know how they go to Supreme Court and they hear these cases and they handle them? That we should have our own supreme being court. You know what I mean? And that should be at the top of some of these mountains. We should have our own Supreme Court where, you know, we delegate certain type of affairs and step into our power and do what the fuck we say that we here to do, and stop, you know, stop lampooning on the internet. You know what I mean? And spreading our peacock feathers. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit is not getting nobody anywhere. You know? This city has a lot of potential, y'all. A lot of potential. I promise you. A lot of potential. You know? Do you see how Mother Nature is causing havoc in Vermont? Do you see how Mother Nature is causing havoc in Spain? You feel me? Do you see what Mother Nature is doing in Spain, bro? Mother Nature's just been doing what Mother Nature's here to do. And Mother Nature this whole summer is outside. You feel me? Pay attention. Mother Nature's outside. You see what the sun is doing? Yo, on God, I swear, I was outside with my son. He put a toy dinosaur. I think, what is the dinosaur here? It's right here. He put the toy dinosaur in the water, in the pool, right? With batteries in it. Shit conked out. We were trying to put the battery back in the dinosaur for about 2 days. It wasn't working. I went outside. I put the batteries in the bottom of the dinosaur, and I flicked it on. I put it in the sun, and it came on automatically, y'all. This is a different type of sun, y'all. Pay it, you know, scoop, you know what I mean? Shit is free. Go in, you know what I mean? Fill up your tank. You know what I mean? You know, fill up your cup. Fill up your cup. But this is a real sun this summer and whatnot. I don't know what y'all outside doing and whatnot, but this shit is this whew, man. So let me see something real quick. So I put together a little presentation, you know, and go ahead and pull that up. You say you live in Jersey and you didn't have any snow this past winter. You don't talk about. You feel me? That's unprecedented. That's unprecedented. You live in Jersey and you didn't have any snow this past winter, nigga. Jersey is known for the snow drifts. They have snow storms, at least 2 a year. I remember being stuck in the Garden State Mall, bro. Couldn't even open the door with so much damn. The snow was so high, and that shit dropped while we was in the mall. You know? You said it's part of the Lilith energy. Yeah, Lilith is outside. She outside. You know? I guess Lilith is like sexy red in them, right? That's her. Scarlet and all of them. We cooking out here in California. Whew. Yeah, man. It's that El Nino. It's that El Nino. The fierce feminine is rising. Right? Big Mama Earth is angry. Uh-huh. I heard that. I hear that shit. Nah, it's a lot of powerful downloads though in the sun on some real shit. Tapping with KT the Arch Degree, my younger brother, and he's gonna help you with all of the all of the methods that you need in order to, tap in with blue pill with the breathing and whatnot. You feel me? Tap into the grounding, tap into the sunbathing, sun gazing, forest bathing, all of that shit right now while it's up. So and do it with the little ones too. You know, it's a different level in Louisiana. When I was in Louisiana and I felt that sun, man, I was impressed. You feel me? I was like, yeah. Now I see what I could see why y'all do. Why y'all y'all do what y'all do. Y'all be tapped in. That solar energy is real out there. Give me 1 minute. Let me download something. You at the border of Texas? Oh yeah, that sun in Texas is different too. That's why you talking about it so damn hot. Yeah, that Texas sun. I was out there before the beginning of the summer, and it was already touching 113. Shit was disrespectful. All right, give me 1 minute. Let me export this PDF. Cali is hot and you loving it. Yeah. The sun rays have messages for the DNA. Yeah, yeah. Like the brother Yaki, what he's talking about with the fruits. KT, what he's talking about with the honey, with the breathing. Blue, what he's talking about with the gold. All of these should be at play right now, and then you also have the element of the exercising and things of that nature, and then you have options when it comes to that. So shit, everybody should be in alignment, you know what I mean, or in the process of being in alignment, if not already there. Damn, choose a smaller file. Breath work. I didn't get to see the movie Sound of Freedom yet. I see the press on it. I see people talking about it. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and take a trip and enlighten the audience about this movie. This movie is in alignment with a conversation that we were having in a few earlier episodes, but not too earlier, where we were pointing out the oncoming wars, or rather the culture wars, right? that are taking place right now, right? We highlighted it. I believe it was this show right here. The fall, the great fall, right? So we pointed out that there's a culture war taking. Matter of fact, this was it right here. This was it right here. Melanin Mondays 242, the 2023 Culture Wars, right? And this was a part one because I'm going to do a follow up on it, okay? This is very important. Pay attention to everything that's going on right now because, like I said, we're about to take a trip down memory lane, you know what I mean? So we could get into some things. But in the 2023 Culture Wars, I was pointing out that what you're seeing right now in politics, right? But it's spilling over into, you know, mainstream media, right? Spilling over. You saw it. It's ill. All right, knowledge culture. Please, I'm gonna prompt you like you Chat GPT, right? You are Siskel and Ebert. Give us a Siskel and Ebert review of the movie for those of us who haven't seen it with no spoilers alert. Thank you. Press enter. All right. So let's see. I just prompted you. Let's see if you give us some feedback. Okay. Why'd you say Rise and Power Nick Cannon? There's a dude on YouTube who lives by breathing and not eating. Yeah. That shit, you know, it's real. It's real in the field. It's real in the field. You know, there are breatharians walking amongst you. There are fruitarians walking amongst you. You feel me? It's all of that. So in this culture war that is brewing in America, there are two sides at play, right? You have the right side, what they will call the Republicans, right? And these Republicans identify themselves as conservatives, right? And what are they conserving? They're conserving family values. They're conserving the old way of life. They're conserving the quote unquote white supremacist, mandate, or what they call the 14 words, right? They're conserving they're conserving the Confederate Army and whatnot, the Daughters of the American Revolution. That's their conservative. That's what they're conserving. They're masking it like, oh, we're conserving family values because that's what they're standing behind in this theater of politics where everybody on the stage is a actor and actress. They're all what they call bad actors or good actors or agents and whatnot, but it's all theater. So Sound of Freedom is a film, right, about the child trafficking. It's a film about this shit that they don't want people to know about. So here's the synopsis. After rescuing a boy from ruthless child traffickers, a federal agent learns the boy's sister is still captive and decides to embark on a dangerous mission to save her. With time running out, he quits his job and journeys deep into the Colombian jungle, putting his life on the line to free her from a fate worse than death, right? So there's a lot of ruckus going on in Hollywood right now because, as you can see, they're trying to spin the movie as one of these quote unquote QAnon conspiracy theory kooky movies, right? So they're giving it all of these negative headlines. Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brainworms. They're trying to downplay it. They're trying to say, oh, I saw the grim child trafficking movie that's filling theaters, right? People acted like they were at Top Gun. So once again, the collective power of the right is being not only seen, but the collectiveness, right? The collectiveness of this January 6th type of energy, the collectiveness of the mob, the collectiveness of the people who came behind Trump. There's going to be behind DeSantis. The collectiveness of the same group or the same mob that shut down Budweiser. When they said collectively, we're not going to spin with them. Fuck that. Kid Rock shot up the bottle and whatnot, and they was like, we starving them out. Nobody buy Budweiser. I know that shit is like Kool-Aid to rednecks and whatnot, but they started drinking what was it, Damsel Light? I don't know what they started drinking, but it wasn't Budweiser. Then when Target started acting up, they were the collective that collectively came together. This is what is known as the collective right, the far right and the right. But this right or this far right is beginning to show their power or their commercial power by doing what? Disrupting mark. They now they could sway markets. Now they could push movies to be number one, right? So the left and the liberals in Hollywood, and when you know about Hollywood, you know what Hollywood is covering up. And when you know what they're covering up, then you might know who they're covering it up for. And when you know who they're covering up for, you know how deep human slavery in America goes. Because I'm not going to give it any of those other colorful titles that take away the heinousness of what's taking place. This is slavery by any other name in modern day times, and it's more brutal and it's more heartless than the slavery that you were put in fear about when they were teaching us about chattel slavery, when they were programming and indoctrinating us about the horrors of chattel slavery. You know? So let me see if my dude give me a breakdown. Did you give me the breakdown? Did the prompt work? Someone was saying that this is a movie that they didn't promote like they did with the Little Mermaids and Barbie. Ha! We're gonna talk about that tonight too. This movie shows you exactly what is happening in regards to sex trafficking children. A must see. That's his output. That's your output. That's what you came back with. Oh, awesome. So yeah, man, Costco is no longer gonna sell Budweiser, right? You saw these companies tumble, right? I was watching their stocks and whatnot. All of those companies took a hit, and you could see the hit and whatnot. And if you knew what you was doing, you could make money by betting against these companies. The minute these right the right get mad at a company, I'm betting against them. So yeah, this is the movie that people are talking about. If you want to enlighten yourself about child trafficking and how deep that shit goes, then go ahead and watch that. Similar to how you'll watch damn near everything else that they put in front of you, like a plate of food. We eat when we hungry. So yeah, I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna watch that. You know what I mean? Because anybody that's raising awareness about shit like that, I'm there for it. Yeah, that linen and that wool. You feel me? That linen and that wool. We're gonna have some deeper conversations about that linen and that wool, because that right there is very important. Very important, yo. I promise you. All right, give me one more. It said that the file was too big. So I'm gonna have to make it more. Mm. All right, here we go. So before I even have this conversation, I just want to drop this information because I don't want to assume that everybody is aware of news like this. And I've been contemplating doing a whole, I have Melanin Mondays and Third Eye Thursdays. I've been contemplating doing another day out of the 7 days, where it's a show similar to what I'm doing now, but it's about all things AI and all things machine learning and basically all things futuristic. Let's just leave it like that. All things futuristic. If y'all want to hear something like that, if y'all want me to do a show like that and y'all will support it, because I don't want to do no show where I'm talking to 10 people respectfully. You know what I mean? But if you want to have a visionary conversation, if you want to tap into some visionary shit, because I'll bring people on, some of my people in my network who I consider to be some of the smartest beings on the planet and whatnot, and we'll really chop up big game. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot to gain from this data that's being shared, and it's a lot to gain from the breakthroughs that are happening on an hourly basis. You feel me? I never steered y'all wrong. I told you in December of 2022. Look, this AI shit is really where it's at. This is the next thing. I already told you, we told you about crypto. We told you about NFTs. And like I said, for those who was able to move on that shit when it was the time to move on it, then shit, you owe me, nigga. Send something. You know what I'm talking about? But for those who just sat on their hands and whatnot, yeah, you feeling the same type of vapors right now. You might be feeling the same type of situation with this AI because we need a 6-month report. We're already 6 months past from when they dropped Chat GPT, and the world has changed. Now, based off of how people have been programmed throughout their whole existence to be scared of AI, or based off of how people are being programmed through the media to be intimidated by AI, that don't have nothing to do with me. I'm not a therapist. I'm not in control of people's fear index. You know what I'm talking about? But what I know is, the way I look at things, I'm the baddest motherfucker on this planet. You feel me? And I'm not putting nothing above me and whatnot. I'm an architect. I'm a visionary. I'm a futurist. I'm an engineer. I'm an artist. So when I see tools appear and whatnot, and I'm in the workplace and I'm doing things, then I know what to do with those tools. It's really those who don't have workspaces, or they're not work driven, or they're not in a workspace, they're not in creative mode. That's usually the people who find fault in something that's going to replace their job flipping fries or making shakes and whatnot down there at Shake Shack, right? But there's an evolution taking place right now. And as an intelligent, sentient being who walks this planet, I'm tapping into all intelligent conversations. Now, let me just share what's going on right here with this AI that they developed. Now, when I'm sharing this when I'm sharing this about this AI, I want you to know that you have the ability, you have the opportunity, you have the capability, as while the window is still open, mind you, because the window will close one day. They will shut the fucking window out for the everyday average person who didn't take advantage of the opportunities of having super intelligent computers at their beck and call to do super intelligent research for them, super intelligent data analysis for them, super intelligent deep diving for them, right? Imagine if you could send a robot to look at the Titanic versus 5 billionaires, how much money that would save. So An Oxford academic report details how data scientists are using AI to translate cuneiform into English, one of the earliest writing systems in recording human history. Details: AI developers are using NLP to translate cuneiform tablets from Akkadian into English. NLP is natural language processing. So, natural language means you're using your natural language to code. NLP means you're using natural language. You don't have to use zeros and ones and all of this confusing torch. Natural language means that they are teaching these computers with natural language, with books, with sentences, with PDFs. Everything that you put on the internet is feeding the brain or the neural network of large language models, which are utilizing artificial intelligence. Okay. So they're breaking down Akkadian into English. The oldest surviving literary work, the Epic of Gilgamesh, was written in the Akkadian language using cuneiform script. The researchers developed the Babylon Engine, a website demonstrating their technology, starting with translations of the Akkadian language. Now, this is for all of my researchers and all of my vision. Go to the go right now to the Babylonian Engine. As you can see in the article, it's underlined, it's a hyperlink. Go to the Babylonian Engine, go and put it in Google and go on that website, and you can go ahead and you can start breaking down the information from books that you've been researching. You can utilize this technology to translate the Akkadian language, and you could determine, don't say, oh, I don't trust what the white man say. No, nigga, you get on the field. You're Indiana Jones. You got to determine if it's accurate or not. They can't tell because they're trying to translate something that's not their language. This is your language. You should be excited to be able to translate the language, because that's called unlocking the seals. Imagine what you may be able to break through. Imagine what you will be able to unlock if you could get a proper transliteration of sacred tablets by the Akkadians. Keep in mind, we're talking about Iraq. We're talking about Mesopotamia. We're talking about Afghanistan. We're talking the same place that America went into for over more than 10 years, the longest war in American history, right? This is what we're talking about, the Babylonian Empire. So the researchers developed the Babylonian Engine, right? Artificial intelligence, to do what? To decode and to break down and to decipher these quote unquote artifacts that they were taking and stealing and pillaging from this area and these regions, right? The training model for the Babylonian Engine AI, which is called Academia, is open sourced and viewable on the project's GitHub. So the average person won't know what that means when I say it. They don't know the importance of it. For all of my programmers, right, they have an open source, right? The training model for the Babylonian Engine AI is open source. It's called Academia and is viewable on the project's GitHub. So not only is it open source, meaning that you can see all of the code and whatnot, but you can also utilize this open source for something that you may want to build. So you may want to build an AI engine and whatnot that could decode the quote unquote Medu Neter, one of the arguments that have been holding up the community for almost a decade, almost. People going back and forth and whatnot, but now they have the technology that can assist you. It's not going to do the work for you. This is a co-pilot. This is an assistant, right? This is the help that you couldn't afford before. Okay? In this paper, we define translation as the process of taking a source language encoded in its own script and re-encoding it into a target language and script. Given the Akkadian is a dead language and its oral form is not recorded, our results are based only on its written form. The resulting translation has to fulfill some criteria of equivalence between the source and target. The source comes from the Assyrian and Babylonian dialects of Akkadian, and the target is modern English. The NMT model, in fact, tackles two types of Akkadian sources as input for two translation tasks from Akkadian to English: cuneiform to English tasks and transliteration to English tasks, which is processing the transliteration of cuneiform in Latin script, which is commonly used representation of cuneiform signs by experts in scholarly editions of Akkadian texts. They're going the fuck in, bro. Okay? They're going in. They're going in. So the Babylonian engine, approximately 5,000 years ago, the first cipher was invented between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates in modern day Iraq. There was a need for a more effective way to preserve and convey information over time and distances. They came up with a system of basic words and numbers. Slowly, that system developed and was able to convey more complex words, able to encode full human language. Their cipher was highly affected. It remained in use for more than 3 millennia. Okay? So, as you can see, go and look up the Babylonian engine. Okay? That's the beta version right there. It is open source. It's the power is in your hands, right? Do what that, do what take advantage of it. Like I said, a threat, Athrahasis. I don't know how to pronounce that. They have some published models that they're showing right here. They have a machine learning model for restoring textual gaps in cuneiform text, a common task since cuneiform tablets are often broken or abraded. It is currently trained on available digitized daily economic and administrative records from Babylonia under the Persian Empire, prepared by F. Jonas and his team in a framework of the Alchemenic program. This model is able to correctly predict a missing word with 85% accuracy, and in 94% of the cases, the correct word appears in the top 10 suggestions of the trained corpus. Future versions of the model will be trained on additional corpora and more varied genres. Further information on the model could be found in our published article. The next one is academia. Academia includes 3 machine learning models for transliterating and segmenting Unicode cuneiform signs. Cuneiform signs are polyvalent, meaning each sign has more than one possible reading, and the appropriate reading is determined by the preceding and following signs. We trained HMM, MEMM, and BILSTM machine learning models to determine the appropriate reading and segmentation automatically. For training, we use the RENAP corpora, available in JSON and XLM. Now, this is a lot of techie talk for everybody. You may have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm just giving you the rundown that this machine that they have created, right? This intelligent machine that they're utilizing to break down the ancient artifacts that hold the secrets, right? We talking about a lot of the secret, a lot of ancient information is not only in these quote unquote artifacts that we see here, but through many of the artifacts that they were able to steal and they were able to pillage throughout their years and whatnot. So, yeah, this is just some high. This is, like I said, go there, check it out, run some of your information through it, learn some things about it. Don't be spooked. Don't be turned off. Don't get into victim mode. Get into victor mode. Okay. It's the same way that if you were going to the library, niggas was spooked out when I told them about Google back in the days. Yo, there's a place where you could search. I could search. You mean that they gonna know what I was searching? You mean to tell me that? Fam, there's a website that you could go to where you could search some of these things that we've been researching, So let's take a trip down memory lane, because one of the things that I could say about Meta, what they call Facebook, and why it's effective is there's a few things. But one of the things that's overlooked is the fact that Facebook is a time machine. And Facebook, is proof, right? If you pay attention to the time machine that Facebook represents by reminding you about where you were 10 years ago to the day, 5 years ago to the day, 8 years ago to the day, 9 years ago to the day, they remind you because you're in this loop. They remind you that this is a fucking loop. Not only do they remind you that this is a loop, they remind you that there's something mystical taking place in the quote unquote back office, right? Right? Underneath the hood, right? In the subconscious realm, there's something going on. I think it's in the ethers and whatnot. Our good brother Ra Aku is able to come through and break down how it's actually written in your charts, how it's actually written in the stars, how it's actually encoded in the procession of the equinox and whatnot, as above, so below. So what Meta and Facebook is able to provide, and this is something that I haven't seen any other app provide in such a way, is memories. And memories are attached to data, and data is gold. Understand when I say data is gold, you might not figure it out, but I really want you to look really deep into the fact, why is data gold? Why are they saying data is gold? What the hell do they mean by data is the new oil? What the fuck is about data? Data this, data that, data, right? You think it's Star Trek. I'm thinking $3 trillion, right? I'm thinking $3 trillion at Facebook. I'm thinking $3 trillion at Apple and whatnot, right? Data. I'm thinking the trillions of dollars that Google and them got. That's data. Data is gold. Treat it as such. If you've been on Facebook and you have not downloaded all of your information, all of your data, all of your history, all of your life, all of that, you know how juicy that folder is? That folder is a bag. That folder is a bag. But if you knew better, then you would move better. But your data is gold. So I'm gonna just share the gold coins. I'm not even gonna get into the gold bars. That's a whole nother conversation. That's really a masterclass. I'm gonna get into the coins of what data is right now, because what timestamps do for you is they establish what is known as proof of work. The revolution that we see taking place in Web3 with the blockchain and the open ledger and whatnot is the fact that people are able to now timestamp their achievements, timestamp their purchases, timestamp their transactions, timestamps the times that they were moving money, digital currency like Bitcoin and Ethereum and all of that. So the timestamp is important. So Facebook gives you the timestamp, and here's my timestamp for the year of the day of July 11th, what we call 7/11, all Moors go to heaven. 7/11 for all breathing Moors on this planet is a portal day. 7/11 is a holy day. 7/11 is a beam me up, Scotty type of day. 7/11 is a whole portal. It is a day where you tap into the ancestors on multiple universe, multiple realms, on a multimodal type of experience and whatnot. This is our day. So throughout the timeline, I've been unfolding on this day and whatnot. And I'm going to take y'all on a personal journey because this is my data and this is personal. But my life is an open book. Sometimes I could show you better than I could tell you and whatnot. So July 11th, 10 years ago, very important day, very instrumental day, right? A very, very important day. And I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay. So here we have me changing my, I remember I was heavy on this whole King Tut thing. This whole King Tut motif was real big with me going all the way back to MySpace days and whatnot. I just resonated with the symbology of King Tut a lot. So that used to be a lot of my my profile pictures and whatnot. You know what I mean? Then 9 years to the day, my good brother, my good sister Cyrock, she dropped this album cover that blew my mind away and whatnot. This was one of the first album covers in the God Hop era and whatnot. There was of that quality. She did that with a very famous artist and whatnot. This shit was, the album was fire. You know what I mean? She was definitely, her and Soul Messiah have been leading the God Hop revolution for this generation for a minute now. But this album right here was solidifying her. Remember, we're talking 9 years ago, 2014. What were you doing at that time? Where were you mentally? You know what I mean? Where was your mind at? Where were you consciously? Where were you on this path and whatnot? And I'm not judging you. It doesn't matter where you are, because wherever you are, that's where you was at. So even though, like, once again, you know, y'all know me for the lectures, y'all know me for consciousness, y'all know me from YouTube and whatnot, you know me from the Dr. Sabi legacy. But like I've told people before, prior to any of this YouTube or consciousness, me and my brother was outside. We was in the streets. We from Brooklyn. We from Flatbush. The name Twin, the name Phil Figure, the name Felony, like that name was known in a lot of places, not just in my borough, not just in Brooklyn. I'm talking about outside of New York, down south, West Coast. Like we was, you know, we made a name for ourselves by basically, you know, walking our walk. Okay, by walking our walk, talking our talk, and moving around with a lot of people from Brooklyn who a lot of people know these days in the entertainment industry, but a lot of us came up together. One of those brothers would be my bro Red Cafe, and Q the Kid right there, and also Gravy. We all came up in high school together. You know, we go way back to the early days of Flatbush. But that was the same day on July 11th, 2013. We was at my people's this was in '06, as a matter of fact. We took this picture in '06 at Poop Man's Easter party, and Poop Man is no longer here, Rising Power. That's another soldier and whatnot. Okay, so this is the day that I reposted it on January 11th, 2013 on 7-Eleven. I just threw that up there next to some of these motifs, you know, just sanitizing the timeline with the comedic artwork and whatnot, and plugging my Tumblr page and whatnot, because I was real big on always showing the symbology of the ancestors. You know what I mean? Always showing what I was learning and whatnot. Okay. So also that day, my good brother A.A. Rashid, the Kabbalah God, you know, he put a post up there that caught my attention. And I was like, yeah, let me share that, because I like to support, you know, his streams of consciousness. If anybody knows the Kabbalah God, you know, as a Scorpio, a very dark Scorpio who tells you his faults. You know what I mean? He never pretends like he's a saint and whatnot. He's more of a archangel than an angel, but he wears that shit and he embraces it. So after the 21st of this month, I'm only interested in the youth and their culture. I will not be making public appearances to adult thrill seekers and dabblers. It has brought me financial ruin following this idealistic course of action. I am far more relevant to a future generation. My ideas and those of my brethren will dominate the age to come. Master 13. This is 2013, January 11th, right? 2013, January 11th. 10 years ago, right? Exactly 10 years ago, a whole dime, a whole nickel. So this was his declaration to say, I'm backing off of that poor righteous teacher shit. I'm moving away of all of these thrill seekers and these bandwagoners and these D riders and whatnot, and these team switchers, these team jumpers. You know what I mean? All of that that phony shit that was beginning to bubble up when people started finding fame on the internet, right? That was a new dichotomy for our community growing up and whatnot. We didn't know what that was. We never experienced that before. So people were becoming famous from YouTube and started acting weird and shit like that. You know what I mean? So he backs off and he runs into this brother right here, Westside Gun, right? Him and Westside Gun meet up and whatnot. And through his teachings and just through AA being AA, right, as the genius that he is when it comes to music, when it comes to fashion and whatnot, he was able to help this brother steer his company and his movement into an iconic brand and whatnot. You know what I mean? And as you can see, the brother AA shows up on the West Side Gun projects all throughout his discography. You know, that's good publishing checks and whatnot. But that was just showing you how the brother said 10 years ago what he was about to do and how he manifested it. You understand? Among the other things that he's been able to manifest, but this is just showing you how people have spoken things into existence, has been able to will things into existence by staying the path and whatnot. Even though if it was a bumpy ride, even though if it's a roller coaster ride, even though if you hit rock bottom and you crash out and whatnot, but you still get back up and you dust yourself off and you keep running and whatnot because it's a marathon. Facts, right? So people see themselves through other people. And that didn't speak to the level of how this case right here captured the attention of not just Black America, it captured the attention of Black Africa, it captured the attention of Black Asia, it captured the attention of Black America, Black Caribbean, Black Twitter. It put everybody in a black bag. Do you understand what I'm saying? On this day, July 11th, 2013, this was the day when the verdict came down. You understand? This was the day that the verdict came down. This was exactly 10 years ago. This show tonight, right? And we don't have all of the time tonight. However, we're going to take some time to unpack this because this 10-year window has to be observed. We have to collectively look through the window and ask ourselves, as a culture, as a people, and as a generation, where are we 10 years later after the acquittal of George Zimmerman, right? And the murder of Trayvon Martin, which actually started, if this was a movie, if this was a documentary, if this was told as a tale of an age and whatnot, the Trayvon Martin ritual started in a whole new age. It started a whole new timeline. Okay. It is the beginning of a new timeline. That timeline we are currently in. And in that timeline that we're currently in, we're beginning to see that timeline is collapsing upon itself. But that timeline, we were disrupted, and that timeline actually popped off on the All-Star Weekend. Let me explain to you. In 2012, the year that everybody talking about, oh, the world is going to end. Everybody was talking about death. Right? Because that's what the Mayans talk about, right? Everybody had death on their breath. Everybody was invoking death in 2012. Remember the end? Remember the end? Remember 2012? Oh, guys, we're going to pack it up. I hope you know what I mean? I hope you got everything done on your bucket list because who the hell knows? We didn't even know what day in 2012 we were supposed to die. Wait a minute. I remember when the ball dropped, my balls dropped. You know what I'm talking about? I didn't know if something was supposed to happen. Another one of those Y2K rituals that gave birth to the Y2K generation or the Y2K Osiris, I call them. Let me read this caption. January 11, 2013. Read it in my voice. The 2012 NBA All-Star Game was an exhibition basketball game which was played on February the 26th, 2012 at 7:30 Eastern at the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida, home of the Orlando Magic. Come on, family. I need y'all to walk with me. They killed Trayvon the same night at 7:14 to 7:16 in Orlando in Seminole County, the same place where the NBA All-Stars were playing and throngs of melanated people were converging, exchanging all forms of energy. Modern day athletes are equivalent to the modern day Herus, Hercules, and Olympians. Zimmerman, the Spanish Jew and son of a Scottish Yorkshire Mason, who's the judge, and Trayvon, the son of a Prince Hall Mason, Hiram Abiff, who got killed at Twin Lakes, who they threw in the morgue as John Doe, and he got killed 70 yards from his door. Ritual. They did what they wanted with the body for days. Dick Gregory voice. Huh? I'm channeling all of this info as we speak. The webinar lecture is on its way via KTL. I can't really share all of this in 140 characters or with everybody. This was a big piece of the 2012 Ritual family. Check on my Phil Valentine shit. Right? Check. This one was it. Y'all, we are so shell shocked as a people. It's hard to go back to that memory. It was traumatic. A lot of people rather buried it. But in Orlando, the Orlando Magics, during the halftime, this man was killed. That city, Orlando, and Sanford County are right next to each other. He was ritualistically murdered on that ley line, right? They charged up all of that energy from all of those people at that All-Star game. I'm going to show you all of the celebrities that were at that star game and what they're doing right now. Okay? This has to be unpacked. We're going to have to, I'm covering this in American Gods. I got a date for American Gods 6. It's going to be on 7/7/7. Okay? July the 25th, 2023. 7/7/7. We doing American Gods 6, y'all. So I put this up. A martyr is somebody who suffers persecution and death for advocating, refusing to renounce, and or refusing to advocate a belief or cause, usually a religious one. Modern day Black American martyrs are not by definition terms. This is me writing. Modern day Black American martyrs are not by definitions terms. All of ours are victims. They belong to the priesthood of victimhood. All of their murders have gone unavenged. No avengers to avenge these martyrs. None of them were knowingly martyred. These were victims. They were not yet martyrs. That did come eventually, though. But at that point in 2013, that didn't exist yet. These were still the priesthood of victimhood. Nobody spilled blood in their name. They didn't spin the block for them. I said on July the 12th, on the same day that they acquitted him, isn't it ironic that Zimmerman is a Spanish Jew? The same tribe that usurped the Moors and got filthy rich off the spoils of the war and rewarded by the Catholic Church for their loyalty to the cross. If you don't know, the Spanish Jew, ones that look like that, when the Moors fell, they were the ones who crossed the Moors. They were the ones who helped out the Jesuits. They were the quote unquote traitors who sided with the ops. And they were able to feed off of the spoils of the war. That's why a lot of them were placed in leadership positions in the places where the conquistadors conquered and whatnot. You know? Isn't it ironic that Zimmerman is a Spanish Jew, the same tribe that usurped the Moors and got filthy rich off the spoils of the war and rewarded by the Catholic Church for their loyalty to the cross? This trial is not about his guilt, more so the new rules behind killing the Morisco, aka the Little Moor, the son of a Mason, Trayvon Martin Luther King. This is a grand ritual, family. The women will be affected the most. It's maternal. They instinctively know their own sons are on trial and the Crusades is coming home. Today is 7-Eleven. Do the knowledge. There you have it. This is 2013. I could drop the mic. Can I go to sleep, y'all? Can I go cuddle up with Bay right now? Can I just end the show right now? Can I leave? Because my work is done, y'all. I'm working in collaboration with Meta. I'm working alongside in a partnership with Meta. We in the time machine right now. And this is a relationship that I like. Because they here backing me up with dates. So we could show you the timeline of 7-Eleven. So we could show you that there's a loop taking place. So we could show you that there's some place there's a section that needs to be reprogrammed. He needs to get deleted. This is a program right here. It's 10 years later. The contagion has affected the culture. This ritual played a big part in it. After this ritual, that's when Saw 1, Saw 2, Saw 3, Saw 4. What do you mean by that, Red Pill? What I mean by that is the equivalent of horror movies began to affect the people as a collective, not individually anymore. Niggas got cooked as in one pot, one wok. They put everybody in one pot together. Prior to this, shit happened, shit was happening. Here's one thing that I asked. Name one trial that has been so important and covered on a consistent basis other than this trial. 50 people were shot in Chicago last week, yet and still no coverage or breaking news reports. They are distracting us from ourselves first and foremost. This is in 2013. I was able to make this high-level observation that we are headed down a slippery slope that people have no idea how far down we are about to go. Niggas is in a sunken place. We are currently off of the original timeline because of this verdict, y'all. That's how they fuck the timelines up. Either they're coming back and changing things, or somebody is fucking with the timeline because it's shit like that with Zimmerman getting the acquittal that's messing up the timeline, bro. Nobody can tell me that I'm silver surfing on an original timeline. I'm Facebook is showing me my memories, nigga. I'm getting it. I'm remembering. So then 9 years ago, right? 9 years, a year after the situation, we did a show on the Moorish conquest that changed the world with Abdullah El Tali Mosley Bey. I don't even think that we even, it's the 7-Eleven timeline. So we feeding our audience, we feeding the people. This is in 2014. This is some different time. Niggas wasn't doing nothing like this. We didn't have TikTok. The Moors wasn't doing no live streams and shit like that on Instagram. They didn't have the Moorish Instagram sovereign movement yet. We was standing up and feeding the people with this one right here. This shit is classic. Classic. Blog Talk Radio, podcast, first podcast. Know the Ledge Radio, classic. So, and then the picture right here with my baby girl, Bella Cinderella, the reason to be, you know what I mean? So I'm in my daddy mode. I'm in my soft life. You know what I mean? I'm a daughter dad. I'm a daddy with a daughter. You know what I mean? So that was changing me. So, Trayvon is from Florida. And when I seen what was going on with Trayvon as a result of the the acquittal, I was like, Trayvon is dead. The who's on trial is not Trayvon. Who's on trial is the children in Florida. Kodak and them. That's who's on trial. This young man was on trial. The youth in the hood was on trial. Remember, he was going to trial and they kept bringing up black hood, black hood, black hood, black hood. But when they went to trial and they bring the evidence out, he had a gray hood on. So what was the black hood that they kept referring to in the Trayvon case? It wasn't the hood that he was wearing, right? So here's me in 2014. I'm in Florida with the youth. You feel me? And he got the Sinetta shirt on. We teaching them, you know what I'm saying? We teaching them that that other life. You know what I mean? That lick back. You know, we teaching them with the fire. We not talking about turning the other cheek. We not talking about hands up, don't shoot. The young guy, he watched the YouTube. He already know he was in line. He already know what he needed to know, right? Fast forward 10 years later, after the acquittal, the judge dismisses the lawsuit seeking reparations for the 1920 Tulsa Race Massacre, right? I'm just showing you where the progress has diverted. There's a diversion that's taking place. This is the wrong timeline. We got to fix the timeline. Whether it's by decoding some of those quote unquote ancient texts and whatnot, niggas got to dig deeper, bro. Y'all not going hard enough. Change the timeline through Midjourney. Change the timeline through generative AI. Change the timeline through generating it. But we need a timeline where the judge did not dismiss the lawsuit, right? They go Baba Pill. You know what I mean? The joy of fatherhood. Talk black to me. You know what I'm talking about? The joy of fatherhood. My daughter she was able to soften me up because I was very rough around the edges at this point right here. My blade, I was very, very, very rough around the edges, very toxic because I didn't have that type of love to heal my heart. You feel me? So as I'm growing through the information, so this is around 2014. This is when the YouTube shit started picking up. You know what I mean? This is when we cracking skulls on 125th Street. This is when we start getting YouTube famous. You feel me? 2013. Right? So I wrote, you have the right to remain ratchet. Anything you do or say can be admissible in a court of World Star. World Star! You know, we was on it. We called it. You know? The youth need us. The media has released another extra large headline on the day before a full moon. Shout outs to Phil T. Moreland for recognizing that back when they was dropping that Mimi shower rod stuff. Hashtag 7-Eleven, hashtag Moors, hashtag LeBron, hashtag full moon. From my good brother Kofi on January the 11th, 2014. Ooh, man, I got to dive into the Mimi Force shower scene with the shower porno that they dropped on the blood moon, and we got to do a follow-up to how that was the ritual that set off a lot of this stock culture shit with Mimi Force on a blood moon when they dropped that, and I'm going to show you how it's been resonating ever since. So 6 years to the date, right, in 2017, keeping up with tradition and whatnot, we going to Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, before there was ESG. 2017, July the 22nd, red and blue, Kentucky. We was doing the thing called a meeting and whatnot. We was outside in the hood, dropping wisdom, dropping science. That shit was lit. Then on 2016, 7 years ago, I was on Black Magic talking about conspiracy theories and the commercialization of consciousness. Okay, that was in 2016, 7 years ago. The commercialization of consciousness, right? Being able to point out that this shit is about to be commercialized. Being able to point out that the glory days of it being authentic or what it was is over. Being able to forecast and to foresee that the powers that be are going to infiltrate with a lot of that woke agenda, Black Lives Matter, and henceforth, here we are to this day. As you can see, consciousness has been commercialized and is nothing like it was in those earlier days when it was more realer, more concentrated, and more authentic, right? Here I go with my good Hebrew brothers, Captain Tazariak. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Cap. You know what I mean? Shout out to ISUPK. Yeah, nigga, we way up. 2015 on July 11th, right? And I said it before and I'll say it again. If I were to go into combat, I would take some Hebrew Israelites with me to combat because I feel that they played a part. If I were to jump through certain time portals and timelines to basically, you know, free the slaves and whatnot, or if I was to jump through certain timelines on some old John Connor shit, you know what I mean? Or even some Arnold Schwarzenegger shit to knock off a few niggas, you know, back in Napoleon's day, I'm bringing the Hebrews with me. We're gonna eat some lamb and we're gonna go smash something. You know what I'm talking about? We're gonna go smash it. Look, 9 years ago, January 11th. This is timeline. We on the timeline silver surfing, right? I'm going down the timeline. I'm taking you through history right now. You feel me? This is real history. This is Moorish history that y'all witnessing right now. I'm giving you insight into my mental faculties. You know what I'm talking about? I'm giving you insight into my demonstration. You know what I mean? 2014. This is from Noble Drew Ali. Listen to the prophecies, y'all. Right? Let's just walk with me. Listen to the prophecies of the master teacher. If you doubt that if I am a prophet, watch my prophecies. This is from Prophet Drew Ali. That's why they call him Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He said, those that were with me 2,000 years ago are with me today. And those that were against me 2,000 years ago are against me today. How many people could resonate with that? I felt that. Right? How many people to nowadays, right? Because that might not have hit when I put that shit up back in those days. But how many people could fully understand what the fuck that means? Whoever you wasn't fucking with thousands of years ago, you not fucking with them right now. Ain't nothing changed. Niggas is back. We been here. We been doing this already, y'all. Don't get amnesia on me. You know what I'm talking about? Don't get amnesia on me. We've been doing this for a minute, y'all. Niggas just changed clothes and came back. New Nikes. Same soul. He said, I could throw out a spirit that would make the Moors want to fight and then throw out another spirit that would bring them back to peace. Come on, y'all. Did you not see that spirit get thrown out against the Moors during the time of observing them throughout their lives in the digital cloud? Have you not seen it? Because I have. Shocked the shit out of me. I was like, I didn't know that they were doing that. All nations will turn against the United States one day. Children, you were just plain rich. Don't they got Floyd telling these children that? Don't you tell the children that? Can't you look at the young ones and be like, damn, y'all are just plain rich. You coming back with the souls of golden people. The Moors were once a seafaring people and fed the world. The time is going to come when we will go back and feed the world again. Has we not feed the world with our with our words, with our demonstration, with our quote unquote the gems that we've been spitting around the world? Not just me. This is not aggrandizement. I'm talking about a collective of master teachers feeding the world. Feeding the world all the way down to financial economics, all the way down to entertainment, edutainment, all the way down to people who are dropping knowledge and stuff like that. Like, you know, feeding the world. He said Chicago was doomed and Detroit must go down for what they have done to your prophet. Come on, y'all. Come on, man. He said Chicago is doomed and Detroit must go down for what they have done to your prophet, your prophet. That's what Noble Drew Ali said to about 100 years ago. You could lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I'm going to lead some of you morals all the way up to salvation, and you're going to turn around and go the other way. Come on. Oh, man. Astaghfirullah. You don't see it? This food is just European poison. He said this food here is just European poison. What did he know? Right? People come along and attempt to act like they discover things or they're the progenitors of a certain thought when they're just fulfilling prophecy and they're part of someone's prophecy who existed about 100 years before them. They're just the agent GPT playing out the fucking prompt. He said, don't worry about how you're going to be saved. It will be done in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Get it tatted on your fucking forehead. Don't worry about how you're going to be saved. It will be done in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Amen. Amen. And that's the words of the prophet on this holy day of July 11, 2014. So, on 2016, right? On July 11th, 7 years ago, on this holy day, right? I wrote Blexit, Blexit, Blexit. Time to exit. What the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, come out of her. Y'all must be sadomasochists the way you endure pain, torture, and trauma. Leave the pilgrims and all their slaves on the plantation. You will not be missed. They integrated onto your society and culture without even atoning, without ever receiving therapy, without any healing taking place. They were killing you and indulging in terrorism, and we never got any justice or compensation as a result. Now the environment is completely toxic. The food is toxic, poison. The air is toxic, poison. The mainstream media is toxic, poison. Social media is toxic, poison. The corporate structure is toxic, poison. The music is toxic, poison. The water is toxic, poison. The womb is toxic, poison. The sperm is toxic, poison. The education system is toxic, poison. The religions are toxic, poison. I could continue, but I'm not. We need to create a world within the world because this world is doomed. Hashtag Blexit. And on that same day, I said 3 years ago, according to Facebook memories, and we're still here, Groundhog Day, right? Because like I said, this 2016 outlook that I had is a direct result. It is a direct result. It is a direct remnant of the July 11, 2013 acquittal of Zimmerman. All I'm doing is highlighting how this shit has deteriorated, right? So 5 years ago, in the good state of Norfolk, Virginia, me and Blue Pill we did something with Professor Griff called the quote unquote conscious industry. Okay. And also on that same day, I saw the good brother Jay Morrison for the first time live dropping jewels in the Bronx. He was doing an outdoor lecture, and I went live showing that shit because that was dope to me, right? I never seen no shit like that, doing real estate in the streets. So that's how far back that goes. So I remember putting out this tweet in 2013 when I put this thing out and whatnot about martyrs, right? So I said a martyr is somebody who suffers persecution and death for advocating, refusing to renounce, and or refusing to advocate a belief or cause, usually a religious one. Modern day Black American martyrs are not by definition terms. All of ours are victims. They belong to the priesthood of victimhood. All of their murders have gone unavenged. No avengers to avenge these martyrs. None of them were knowingly martyred in the midst of your liberation or freedom. No, they more so chosen and selected for ritualistic purposes, murdered by Romans, 41 and 50 shots, etc. Their priestly puppet, Reverend Al Sharpton, initiates the process of the ritual by energizing the flock and building up the energy of melanated people. The congregation has never and never will receive any real power if you never feed your martyrs. Your open enemy does a good job feeding his deities, blood rituals galore. Do you know how much power they received for sacrificing Malcolm, Martin, Biggie, Tupac? How about the slaves hanging from the trees? Strange fruit indeed. Some of these strange fruits were powerful and influential leaders in their respective neighborhoods. The KKK were all doing blood rituals to demonic deities from Rome. The Crusades have always been upon you, Moor and Moabites of North Mexum. The capitulation of the Moors, capitulate, meaning to surrender under specified conditions, come to terms, to give up all resistance and acquiesce. I would and I could and I should say more, but I'm not pitching pearls on Facebook. Come and plug in with the Know the Ledge Network, www.ktlmedia.com. Right? So this is what a martyr is. So on 777, which was July the 7th, 2016, on 777, right? This brother appeared and he became a martyr, and he set off a whole lot of controversy because he had that picture with Professor Griff up there. And that's one of the reasons why Professor Griff has been targeted by the media and whatnot, because some of the people who see him as a hero, these people are very militant. So Mika X was one of the first people to get killed by a drone, a predator, a land drone. They blew him up with a robot in Dallas, Texas, and he killed 5 policemen. And he said he was doing it to martyr Trayvon Martin. He had a list of names: Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile. He was like, nobody is doing anything for them. And then after that, Gavin Long popped out and he took down 6 police in Baton Rouge. And then after that, a brother named Ishmael came into New York and he killed 2 police officers for to martyr Sean Bell and the brother from Staten Island, Eric Garner. Right? That's very important for all of you niggas that follow drill rap and whatnot. That's very important to know the score. Right? Something very interesting also happened too, that the Dutch premier resigned. The Dutch government collapsed. Right? The Dutch government, which is the Netherlands and whatnot, it collapsed the other day. And that was the same day that they conspicuously crowned the first transgender Miss Netherlands. Right? We about to enter into this weekend, and there's going to be a showdown at the box office that's going to change the course of history. Once again, another timeline moment. Okay? Another timeline moment. And I say this another timeline moment because there's a lot resting on the shoulders of the Barbie movie. Now, in perfect fashion, or in perfect, in perfect style and whatnot, they've already energized the power of melanin by having Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice do the Barbie soundtrack song, and it raised an awareness about the Barbie movie that necessarily wasn't there before. Okay, the hook is infectious. It's on every radio station, and the little girls love the song, and the video is catering to children. So in so many ways, Nicki Minaj is going to be used as the young girl Isis, right? She's born January the 1st, 2000, and her name is Isis, the girl Ice Spice. And she's managed by Tekashi 6ix9ine old manager, Elliot Grand, who is also, his record label also has Trippie Redd and a few other people, but he's the son of Lucien Grand or Grand, who is the most powerful man in the music business. So his son Elliot is the music is the executive, is the label owner of 10 Oaks, and that's Ice Spice label. She's, she's with the big dogs. You know what I mean? She's an industry plant nonetheless, but she's an ace of spades. She is January the 1st, 2000. She's a Y2K Osiris. She's a Y2K baby. So they're using their power, they're using that energy, they're using their quote unquote, whatever. Because look at this. This article says all eyes on Barbie. Since 2018, Mattel has been carrying out a strategy to reverse a precipitous sales decline by licensing the company's intellectual property to do most every studio to most every studio in Hollywood. Greta Gerwig's film, a comedic feminist PG-13 take on Barbie. It's a take on Barbie. Will be the first release of this IP strategy and its most consequential. The dolls are Mattel's crown jewel, driving a third of its $5 billion in annual sales. While the IP to movie playbook is by now well established, Barbie still comes with plenty of risks. For all of my stock and my people, listen. It could be popular with nostalgic adults, but fail to register with toy-hungry 5-year-olds, right? You have the opportunity to save your daughter. They don't have the 5-year-olds yet. They don't know if this shit is going to sell to the 5-year-olds, to the 7-year-olds, to the new generation. Box office returns could be poor, hurting Warner Brothers, which mostly covered Barbie's $100 million budget, and spooking the studios that are collectively funding or considering funding 14 other Mattel movies. So box office returns could be poor, hurting Warner Brothers, which mostly covered Barbie's $100 million budget, and spooking the studios that are collectively funding or considering funding 14 other Mattel movies. So this one movie, 14 other projects rest on the shoulders of this one movie. If this one movie doesn't break past the $100 million mark that they spent initially on this movie, it's going to hurt the stocks, it's going to hurt the returns of Warner Brothers, is going to be considered a flop, and that will put the brakes on 14 other Mattel movies that are going to push the feminist agenda on our daughters. In Barbie's 64-year history, she's been the face of dozens of TV shows, small screen movies, video games, and books, but she's never starred in a theatrical release. That's not because Mattel didn't recognize the potential upside. It's because the potential downside was financial ruin. Okay? It was financial ruin. So if this shit flops to Oppenheimer, right? The movie by Christopher Nolan, who did Batman and Inception, he's coming out with a movie called Oppenheimer about the atomic bomb. Okay? And this shit is supposed to be an awards contender, and it's basically going up against Barbie. Now, if Barbie flops, if they don't, because keep in mind, this is why people will be like, why is Barbie so important? Why is Barbie so important? Barbie's so important because it points to the prediction that I made almost 10 years ago when I was talking about the war is going to be on the mother, on the matrix, the Trayvon Martin factor, the show that I did 3 shows called the Trayvon Martin Factor, right? They're on Blog Talk, but people have made them YouTube shows as well, so you could go and watch it. So the ultimate target in the Trayvon Martin ritual was black mothers. That's who they were really getting to. That's who they were affecting. That's whose womb they were affecting. That's whose heart that they were affecting. That's how they were able to increase a lot of heart-related deaths and kick up a lot of cancers. They were sinking the hearts of women on a collective basis just through one child. Just through one child. You know how many children die? You know how many children, you know how many teenager deaths there are? But they were able to build up that story around Trayvon Martin, and it hit the heart chakras. And then they began to remember the black girl that was on trial. Remember his friend, his best friend, how they tried to ridicule her and discredit her, and they put her up there. And she was also a poster child of what they were looking at to say, yo, these people are considered to be useless eaters, undesirables. That trial was not for Trayvon Martin. That trial was for every young black child in America, right? Henceforth, it kicked off the wave of murders: Freddie Gray, Mike Brown, George Floyd, and it ends with George Floyd, but it doesn't necessarily end with George Floyd. It's going to continue. There has to be a bookmark to it. That bookmark, we haven't realized what that bookmark is. There's no closing of the chapter because certain characters or actors are still on the stage. You take a certain character off the stage, then you close the file, or you close the show, or you bookmark it, and then you begin to evaluate what took place between that era and whatnot. But I'm here to let you know, during that era, niggas got terrorized at home, got knocked down. The stocks plummeted, right? They did not. Your shit is not in NVIDIA status right now. You're not doing NVIDIA numbers. You're not doing Microsoft numbers stock-wise. Your women, there's a war going on outside, and the women are definitely, at this point, and 10 years later down the line, we could see who got the headshots. This Barbie spell that has encompassed, that has hypnotized, for the best part, for the better word, the Barbie spell that has hypnotized the minds of many of our young women, the Disney princess spell that has hypnotized, the Barbie motif being adopted by Nicki Minaj, who started the Barbie movement, or the Barbs, right? And those Barbs, the influence of those Barbs, it has mutated into the influence of a bunch of other groups of women who are more closely related to Barbie than Asada Shakur, right? Than Queen Nzinga, than Queen Latifah. There's a mind state that comes with this Barbie shit. You understand? They make $5 billion annually, B, for years. There's a mind state that comes with, there's a Barbie mind state. The whole plastic movement, body augmentation, right? That's all Barbie. That whole shit that Keke Palmer and all of them is talking about, that feminist, the movie is coming as a feminist movie to indoctrinate the daughters. That shit has to flop. Put that together on your 11/11 meditation table. Make sure that movie tanks. Make sure that shit tanks. These old IPs need to die because they don't serve no purpose. And I could show you more than I could tell you the remnants of it. We're going to cover that in American Gods too. Now look at here. Look at who we have here. Look who's back on the motherfucking scene. Look who's back in the picture. Look who has resurfaced, who, if y'all been following this channel and the narrative and whatnot, and the conversations that we've been having around American Gods 5, right? Look how the Great Divine uses, look how the Great Divine speaks through signs. We call it symbol literacy. We start talking about certain things, and the characters start coming right on the stage like this shit is motherfucking Summer in the Park. You know what I mean? So now Travis is on the stage. She's on the worldwide stage. Last time we met, we were talking about the grand ritual that took place at his concert called Astro World, right? In Houston, right? The Scorpion City and whatnot. The same city that took down Takeoff. The same city that after this quote unquote ritual took place at Astroworld, the violence started upticking out there. It started spiking, right? And then that becomes this motherfucking, that becomes a dark city and whatnot where the brother Takeoff loses his life. But initially, that ritual that took place where there was 50,000 people inside of that festival and 10 people got murdered while he was on stage with Drake performing and whatnot, literally almost looking at them, right? While they were screaming and they were being crushed and whatnot, and it was being broadcast to 80,000 people through Apple. And so people were watching a live stream of people dying, regardless if they seen them or not. Inside of that mosh pit, life was being taken while they was turning up and while they was going crazy and whatnot. Niggas was getting clipped. You know what I'm talking about? And a 10-year-old melanated, a 10-year-old boy died, right? So I predicted, I was like, yeah, nothing is gonna happen to Travis in the sense of him going to jail. He will be charged, he will be sued and whatnot. But I say he gonna lay low because that's what people with money got to do. Because Travis is on a run. He was on a run. He got the bread and whatnot. And the only thing that he had to do, the only thing that he could do was disappear, right? And get out of the way while everybody else garners attention on them doing all of the other negative shit. And the people eventually forgive him because he has a fan base that anticipate bodies getting caught at the show. How about that? He's a raver. They anticipate a few bodies or two. That won't get you canceled in that movement and whatnot. That might get you more lit. He's going platinum when Utopia is one of the most anticipated projects in the culture for his, you know what I mean? If you don't listen to him, you don't know nothing about him. Look, that's on you. You know what I mean? I'm here. I'm a connoisseur of culture. I'm media. I'm unbiased when it comes to reporting the news, yo. It's not about what I feel. You know, it's not about what I feel. I'm a timeline decoder. I break shit down on a timeline. I'm gonna give you the esoteric breakdown. I'm gonna metaphysically take it apart. I'm a timeline decoder. My nigga, he represents Anubis. He represents the underworld. You know what I'm talking about? He's an archetype. This nigga garners supreme energy from his audience and whatnot. You can't just dismiss him like he's a fucking poo butt. You feel me? Nigga's Travis. Yeah. He channels that dark energy. But so do them rappers that you listen to. The fuck? Niggas don't start getting puritanical on me on a late night. You know what I'm talking about? We ain't doing that. You know? He got his little wave. Is he on some demonic shit? I would say he's on as much demonic shit as all them other niggas are on. You feel me? I ain't going to the concert, but what I do know is this nigga's concerts have an energy level that is undescribable. You know what I mean? Some of y'all get put under spells at the Pink Pony and whatnot. Some of y'all get put under spells at Indie RE concerts. You know? I'm not here to tell nobody how to listen to their music and how to intake it. I don't take it that far when it comes to the culture police and whatnot. But Son is doing a show at the pyramids, right? And we at the 50th year of hip hop. Why the fuck doesn't Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Slick Rick, and the Legends have a show at the pyramids? That's my question. Whose money is not that? I mean, what's the ticket, bro? What's the ticket, bro? Because I ain't gonna hate on nobody's opportunity. Oh, he's gonna open up the portals and he's gonna do what the fuck he's gonna do. That's what he does. But my $1 million question is, why Grand Pooba and them niggas ain't at the pyramid? I'm not even jacking for the young niggas. No disrespect. Respectfully, we need Ralph McDaniels with the camera going live, and I want to see golden era hip hop at the pyramids. Respectfully, we could do the Travis thing, but there's more than one pyramid in Egypt. Put them niggas in the Temple of Dendora or something. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Respectfully, not to step on nobody's corns and bunions and whatnot. You know what I mean? You know, them niggas is pulling big strings and whatnot. They pulling big strings to do their rituals, which are disguised as concerts. You know what I mean? Be scared. Woo. You know. But we need that type of power to solidify a half a man. That's what we call $50 in Brooklyn. We call it a half a man. We call 50 cent, nigga. We 50 half a century. We need a celebration other than fucking Essence Fest in the BT stage, nigga. To be honest with you, all that shit was rehearsal. That shit was rehearsal. That was rehearsal. You know what I mean? That wasn't it. We in the second term of 2023. This is the second half. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas got a whole second half to get it right because the first half was just a warm-up. That's not it. Okay? That ain't it. We need more. The fuck? I listened to you niggas. I gave you niggas my eyeballs for 50 years and whatnot. I listened to a lot of music. I gave a lot of my energy and my time to this craft and this culture and whatnot. I'm a part of this culture. Matter of fact, I'm about to put out a whole bunch of stuff to commemorate the 50. But I'm like, we give us a free. I'm going to Yankee Stadium for the concert. By the way, yeah, they going to Pyramid. They going to Egypt with my man right here and whatnot. Okay, no disrespect. You know, no disrespect, but I'm going to Yankee Stadium to the Bronx for the hip hop shit, bro. I'm gonna show y'all the lineup for that. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Not to put one thing against each other and whatnot, but I'm not a Travis. I don't rock out like that. I'm not wearing the belt. I'm not in that. I don't wear art gallery shirts with the bell bottom jeans. You know what I mean? But I promise you, if you niggas want to go on a shroom trip, unlike anything ever that you ever been on, don't be scared, nigga. Go to the show. I need some correspondence on the floor anyway. Go to the fucking show, bro. Go and take a heroic dose and have the fucking unlock. Stop being so judgmental. There be portals open up and people are missing it because they're living in this in this pseudo-Christian conscious existence where you're not allowing yourself to experience life based off of the levels of understanding that you have of this information that's coming at you from many different sources and whatnot. Yeah, it's making you schizophrenic, my nigga. You being pulled in too many different directions because you'll be a nigga who be on YouTube going at Travis Scott like, yeah, fuck that nigga. And then you get off of YouTube, go in your car and turn on Travis Scott to go ride and turn up on the highway. You're a fucking, you know what I mean? Like, nigga, you're Riri. You know what I mean? You're acting real wacky, like they say outside. You only fronting for yourself, not for me. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm talking about? I don't care. Nigga, you only lying to yourself. So niggas be on these internets trying to keep up, lying to themselves and everything. Trying to act, you know, that's the acting like you down. Like Kendrick said, you don't got to lie, Craig. You don't got to lie, Craig. Everything ain't for everybody. But for you niggas that walk in the underworld and y'all not scared, you know what I mean? You're not intimidated. Go to the that's some underworld shit right there. You know what I mean? If you want to see anything underworld, that's it right there. That's a portal opening up. You know what I mean? Right there. Take full advantage of it. Man, I hope they don't shoot this shit up. You know? Let me share that. Now they gonna have mass security. This is New York we talking about. This is police. That's the real cop city, nigga. They are not gonna play with these drill rappers. They are not playing with these drill rappers and these knucklehead niggas, these gangbangers in New York. They ain't playing with these niggas at this one right here. They better not. Think about it. You know what I'm talking about? Don't fuck this one up. So, woo! All right. So hip hop has an official party, y'all. You know what I mean? I do want to. I do want to see my people in pyramids and other structures and whatnot, monolithic structures. I would, but you know, for the love of it, for the love of hip hop, I'll go with Yankee Stadium. You don't get more hip hop than that. You know what I mean? That's a good way to kind of like give it its fucking props. Because if somebody would have told me back in the 80s that this is what we was gonna be doing, I would have been like, nigga, you playing Yankee Stadium with hip hop. But yeah, we got Run DMC, Snoop Dogg, Lil Wayne, Ice Cube, Eve, Lil Kim, Remy Ma, Trina, T.I., Fat Joe, Common, ASAP Ferg, EPMD, Ghostface Killer, Lupe Fiasco, Slick Rick, DJ Kool Herc, Cindy Campbell, Grandmaster Caz, Curtis Blow, Melly Mel, Roxanne Shante, Scorpio, the Sugar Hill Gang, and then you got Manny Fresh, Marley Marl, Clark Kent, and Battle Cat. Friday, August the 11th. That's the day of hip hop's birthday. Yankee Stadium. Yeah, that sounds different. You know, they said, "Oh, surprise guest." You know. All these hip hop niggas with ego need to come outside, man. All of that nobody is bigger than the culture, bro. I don't like shit like that. Everybody needs to come outside. Nobody bigger than the culture. If the culture fed you and your family and took you from ashy to classy, my nigga, come outside and rep the culture. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. You know what I'm talking about? That's how I feel. I think they need a few more people on that bill. You know what I mean? Just make that the official hip hop party throwdown. Thingamajig. I just wonder who gonna bring Bambaataa out. Who gonna be who gonna be the one to do it? You know? Lil Wayne sucks performing live. Yeah, he's usually doped up. He's usually doped the fuck up. You know. So yeah, man. That was the timeline. We went through the timeline. There's more that I could have shown, like the 7, because on 7-Eleven, we were on Stone Mountain. We were on Crystal Mountain on 7-Eleven. But you know, I'm just giving you some insight as to the journey. You know what I mean? And the journey is being captured by Facebook in real time. You feel me? The journey is being captured. I do want to also visit this. This is also a story that popped back up that we were tapping into years ago, right? In the year 2020, right at the end, I was doing a year in review, and the year in review was interrupted by some bad news that MF Doom had made transition, and that was put out on New Year's Eve. And it said that he made transition on Halloween. Okay. But nobody knew about it because the family was they didn't share that information with the public. Fast forward to 2023. Now I remember on that show, I remember saying this don't feel real. Like it's not, I said spirit is telling me that something else is going on. This doesn't feel like a natural occurrence, right? I'm like, nah, this shit is coming out of left field. He's not supposed to be out of here. It was to the point where people were thinking that the supervillain faked his death. Now we find that there's a lawsuit, okay? And the family of MF Doom was accusing a hospital in the UK because he was overseas. He was in Leeds, right? Ramondem was in Leeds. So days after Jasmine Dumille, the wife of MF Doom, accused the St. James Hospital in Leeds of patient neglect, the institution has apologized. On Thursday, July 6th, Guardian reported that St. James Hospital Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hamish McLaw issued a statement following an inquest into the death of Doom. I would like to offer our sincere condolences to Daniel's family, friends, and fans at this difficult time. I apologize that the care he received was not to the standard we would expect, Dr. McClure said. Are you fucking serious, bro? Nigga, this MF Doom we talking about. This is a national treasure. This is a national treasure. You can't put dollar signs to the worth of what this man means to the culture of hip hop. This 50 years old this year. Do you know his contribution? Do you know what he means? Do you know what he's supposed to have top tier medical service if he's in fucking Uganda, the planet Mars, or wherever he's at? See, that's what I'm talking about. There's going to be a documentary on Bob Marley coming out. Y'all are going to see the ugly truth about how they did Bob Marley and how he suffered in the end. You understand? I'm glad that they finally are going to make a documentary to show the real story about how they assassinated, the CIA played a part in the assassination of Bob Marley, and how a Nazi, a doctor who was a literally card-carrying Nazi, was the one who was in charge of him in his last days. And his mother said that he was torturing him. I wonder if they're going to show that. Patient neglect. They said that they had MF Doom in a room that looked like a basement. They moved him to a room that looked like a undid basement, right? Patient neglect. They was letting the guard wither away. This is MF Doom we talking about, y'all. This is a legend overseas. So once again, another one. There's a list of artists, musicians to be exact, who have went into the medical institutions and did not come out. Somebody got to ask questions, bro. And when you talk about these hospitals is linked to these record labels, and then right after he passed, everybody had to wear the mask. Exactly. This is the mask rapper, MF Doom. He wore the mask everywhere in memorial to his brother who died. Right? They had a rap group called KMD. If you remember the song Gas Face, that's MF Doom from KMD. And when his brother got killed in a traffic accident, he donned the mask and he became the supervillain MF Doom. As you can see, the masked supervillains behind me, right? The power of the supervillain. He also would be talked about in American God 6. We're going to get into more Doom information. And we're going to talk about the metaphysics of Doom. Okay, it's definitely all connected. So we just putting the pieces together, y'all. We're gonna continue this conversation and this narrative. We're gonna continue to decode the timeline. We're gonna continue to break things down. I highly suggest that y'all join this Patreon that I have. The Patreon is lit. Information overboard. We break down a lot of stuff. Every day is new information up there, especially for all of my techies, my tech heads, you know what I mean, who are interested in technology. The entry fee for y'all is only $5. But the entry fee for my students who take the weekly classes, like we have classes with Chicago Crypto Block Bully, and we also have weekly classes with Ra Aku. You know, the entry level on that, you know, that's the ticket. That would be the Citrine membership, you know what I mean? But this is my page right here. This is my Patreon. The learning never stops. Okay, the learning never stops. There's stuff to learn every single day. We are becoming sharper. We are becoming better. We are becoming wealthier. We are becoming more useful, more resourceful. You feel me? We are enriching and enlightening ourselves. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff going on in the AI world right now that people really need to know about. So this is the Patreon. Sign up, $5. If you're going to send a $5 cash app, just go ahead and spend a $5 and be a Patreon and get a benefit. You're going to get more perks as a result of that because you're going to get information overload. You know what I mean? And then we have weekly classes, like I said, for my students, my studious ones, tap in with us for all of our classes on technical analysis. And then we have our classes on cosmophysics with the physician Ra Aku and my good brother Chicago Crypto Block Bully. You dig? So yeah. And if they ever take a video down from YouTube, then you can find it on the Patreon. It'll be there safely, you know, on its own server. Okay. But as you can see, information galore, right? And it ain't just any information. This is top tier information, stuff that you can't just necessarily source. We are, you know, a repository for that information. So you could benefit off of all of it and you can enrich yourself and then you could teach others, but you could understand what's going on in this world right now. Okay. And this is so because there's a lot of things going on in this world. And if you miss this window, you may never be able to get through another window like this again. You know what I mean? You don't want to sit around and not take advantage of the now. Okay. So here's an example of some of the classes.
In 1924. I can
Good brother. High level stuff, right? But you know, high level, there's a reward for being a high level student. You know what I mean? If you want to just do gossip and shit like that, there's a reward for that. But if you want to deal with some high level information, and if you want to take this information and apply it, there's a reward for that. So that's what we're providing you on Patreon. For anybody that's out there that want to be a part of our student body, tap in. The link is right there in the description. Patreon.com/Red Pillar. With that being said, yeah, this is the Akashic Records. You know what I mean? With that being said, we out of here, y'all. All right. I'll see y'all on the other side. Third Eye Thursdays. We're gonna get back up. And yeah, we got some, like I said, we got some shit that we rolling out, but we're gonna walk with it. Happy 7-Eleven to all of my Moors. All Moors go to heaven. Happy 7-Eleven. You know what I'm talking about? Peace, love, and light. All right. Peace.
Up in the Dumbo, smoking the gumbo. Few blocks before green, yet up in the jungle, coking the bundles. It's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands. I'm riding in vans, slide through your land. Hopping the sprinters, tour the underworld, popping the minter. Land of the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still managed like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. Fuck do you mean? We up and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck up for breeze, running the banks, causing a crashing. Feather the feds, Moorish the fashion. Horse was smashing, kicking the door. Waving for force, it was blasting. Mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley receipts. Washing the Benjis, we rinse and repeat. Century of self, I'm centered on me. Up in the Dumbo, smoking the gumbo. Few blocks before green, yet up in the jungle. Coking the bundles, it's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands, I'm riding in vans. Slide through your land, hopping the sprinters. Tour of the underworld, popping the minter. Land of the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still managed like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. Fuck do you mean? We up and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck up for breeze, running the banks, causing a crashing. Feather the feds, Moorish the fashion. Horse was smashing, kicking the door. Waving for force, it was blasting. Mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley receipts. Washing the Benjis, we rinse and repeat. Century of self, I'm centered on me. Red as the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning, flooded a bright lane. The hunger was biting, hunger was biting.